Hey y'all, T-Ham141 here. I am in the tool shop, which is a mess behind you, so don't turn around. And today we are going to do an oil change on our Predator 2000 watt inverter generator. Alright, so hang out for a second. Alright, I'm being invaded by chickens. I should have shut the door. Anyway. This is the tool packet that came with the Predator 2000 watt generator inverter from Harbor Freight, and I am going to first of all turn it around. This is the side without the pull cord. Reach in my handy dandy little tool set and pull out the handy dandy Phillips head screwdriver. Don't worry, I don't have any watermelons. If you're old enough to understand the handy dandy Gallagher reference, then mention it in the comments below. Okay, I'm just going to remove these 3 little screws. Try not to lose them because I want to be able to put them back. Alright, 3 screws, and I am going to put them, where am I going to put them? I'm going to set them right over there. They won't roll. Okay, now I just take my handy dandy little fingernail and pry that off. Now, you'll see on the bottom of this, there are some slanted hooks that go in these 3 openings. And that's what secures the bottom. Alright, now one thing that caught me as peculiar, we'll say, is that there is no empty oil plug for this handy dandy. Why am I saying handy dandy so much? There is no empty oil plug for this generator. Okay, so we're going to end up tipping it up and emptying it out into a container, okay, the old oil. Now the reason we can get away with that is because the on-off switch, okay, doubles. When you turn your generator off, it shuts the gas off, okay, so the gas is no longer going from the tank into the carburetor. We want to make sure that the top of our gas tank is turned to off, the vent. Okay, we don't want gas pouring out on us when we don't expect it. Now it's a pretty warm day. If it's cold outside, like say 20 degrees, like my last video, you're going to want to run the generator for a little while before you start it, just to warm up the oil. It's a pretty warm day. I have my container here, and I am going to set that under there, open it up, so it will allow the oil in there. Hopefully I don't splatter my legs. This is the oil fill tube. Technical term there. I pull that out. Look how black that oil is, man. Whoo-wee. She's ready. Now I'm going to set that over there. And with my gas lid off and my machine off, I am just going to tip this up and let her run out into my waiting receptacle. Woo! That's some black stuff right there. I let it go a little too long. I changed it this winter and I changed it this early spring. Alright, because what I'm going to do is just make sure she is tipped and drain all that nastiness out of there. Because I want to stay clean today. Do 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 do. Alright. Now I'm going to set it back up. Okay, now I'm just going to take, and I want to first clean out my funnel because it's been sitting here. Even if it looked clean, I would still clean it. I don't want particles going down in my oil. The reason I change my oil is to keep particles that are in my oil out of my oil. Now I had a question. A gentleman, in order to fill their thing, because you see the spout here is just a little bit, it's almost level. Okay, there's a very low angle on that. So they were tipping it up on its side to fill it. You don't want to do that because then, even though we shut off the gas and close the gas top, there is literally nothing that will keep the oil from running into your cylinder. He had the problem of after an oil change, it literally smoked for half an hour. And it was really hard to start. Did I just do that? Yes, I did. I did it again. Anyway, now, I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to tip it one more time. Because while I was talking, I was also waiting for any oil that was still in there, maybe coating the cylinder or whatever, to drain down. Alright, good enough for government work in the girls I go with. Alright, here. Now, this says Pennzoil. I hate to let you in on this, but it's actually Super Tech. I use 30 weight oil in my machines. In all my smaller machines, I use 30 weight oil. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill up it because it's so much. This is so much heavier than that little quart. And then I am just going to turn that so I can see how full we are. Oh, let's make a mess. We're making a mess, Yeah. Pour it like somebody else is paying for it. Now I have my smaller container full. Remember, I'm using SAE 30. 30 weight oil. Might not be SAE. I found that out. You might have some kind of gear oil or something. You want SAE 30, whatever. But now, we are not going to turn the unit on its side. We are going to stick this in here, and we're going to tilt it up. And I'm going to push it down firm against the threads, so hopefully we won't get much leaking out onto my desk. Then I am going to fill it up. Now once a year, I like to change the oil, fill it up, start it, let it run for 5 or 10 minutes, then change the oil again. It's not like I'm changing a filter. Now you don't want to overfill your unit, because if you overfill it, it will put undue pressure on the rings and everything else. You can cause some damage that way too. I'm seeing some oil there. It doesn't take a whole lot. Cleaning my little dipstick. And with the unit level, I am going to check the oil now. I'm going to stick that right in there, twist it in, and check it. Okay, I have oil on my dipstick. You can't see it really because it's clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a little more because it's a little low on the dipstick. Covers less than a quarter of it. Again, pushing tightly. I should use my tall, more ergodynamic funnel. And I keep pointing up there because that's where it's at. Alright. Now that's used almost a pint. Now again with the rag, because I like everything to be clean. And we're going to check the oil again with a dry stick. Turn it in till it's tight. Pull it back off, and I am full. Okay? This generator has been sitting for a little while. Quite a while. A couple days. And so all the oil, a lot of the oil, goes down into the base of the motor, the base of the engine. So now I overfill this just a little bit. It's not really overfull because it'll just run out if I overfill it. But I went a little higher on the stick than I like to see when it's running, because when I start this, right now all the oil is in the pan in the bottom of the engine. And when I start the generator, it's going to be pumped out of there and it's going to lubricate that engine. And that should take me down to the right level. Okay? Now, I got that kind of all cleaned up here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start this. I'm going to turn the gas back on because I'm not tipping it. I'm going to start it. The heck was that? Now that it's started, it's running, it's coating all that new oil in there. Should add a little bit of color to my oil. Alright, that should add a little bit of color to my oil. Now, let's see if what I told you I was doing actually did what I told you it was doing. Pulling the oil plunger, cleaning it off, sticking it back in, screwing it on, taking it out. Then the oil level, I don't know if you can see it on here, the oil level comes to my fingernail. Okay? And remember, before it had it covered the whole stick. Alright, now I just changed the oil, and then I'll keep an eye on the oil levels. My experience with the oil shutoff on these units has really been good. They won't start if the oil's low, and they'll shut right off if the oil's low. Okay, so now I take and I line up these 3 tabs with these 3 holes. Right on there nice. Grab my 3 screws and return them, and 1, 2, 3, Bob's your uncle. You just changed the oil on your Predator 2000 watt inverter generator. Make sure when you're done with this that you have turned your gas cap back on. Otherwise the gas will not feed properly to the carburetor. Alright guys, this is THAM141. In the words of the great Red Green, if the girls don't find you handsome, might as well find you handy. Y'all have a good day. God bless.